Hello. Today we're going to be talking about transfer of learning. So transfer of learning, to start off with, is taking existing skills and knowledge and applying them to new situations or problems. An example of this in my own life would be with rock climbing. So a rock climber learns many different kinds of skills, different types of movements, ways of shifting one's body, and these skills and movements can be applied to many different problems, both inside the gym and outside of the gym on boulders or rock faces. Um, Another example of transfer of learning in my life would be things I've learned in school, which is what a teacher's goal would be, to have their students be able to use the skills that they've learned outside the classroom. In my life, particularly, philosophy has been a big one. My classes in metaphysics, in philosophy of law, ethics, have really helped me shape my ideas of how the world is, of how I view things morally, what I think exists, what it means to exist, so on and so forth. Also, um, also a lot of science and math has influenced my worldview, so I can um, more intimately understand the way the world works in terms of whether it be compound interest or looking at exponential growth of bacteria cultures, understanding or calculating distances by using Pythagorean identities, so on and so forth. There are three different types of transfer of learning. The first type is traditional, and that can be likened to what we learned when we were discussing schema. It would be like assimilation. So you take your existing schema, you adapt it slightly, um, and you're able to apply it without too much trouble to a new situation. The second type would be constructivism and metacognition. These require a little bit more deep thinking. With constructivism, you're taking the new skills you've learned and understanding them as a um, sort of as something built upon what you already know or skills you already have. And metacognition involves thinking, reflecting on what you've learned and how you've learned. The third type of transfer of learning is using tools as a transfer vehicle. So we have a lot of different cultural tools which can help us to either increase our abilities or even to do things beyond what we would be able to do without them. So a couple examples of this, something that could help us to do something a little better. The example given in the reading was a shingle hammer as opposed to a normal hammer. Um, so that'll let you shingle your roof much better. And then an example of something that would go beyond just a tool to increase your learning could be a skill, like again, something given in the reading was math or writing, something that really can increase your understanding of things far beyond what you could do without it, or or driving a car. Um, you can you can practice running all you want, but you'll never be able to run 65 miles an hour down the freeway. There, moving forward, there are two different models, or to help with our understanding of transfer of learning. The first would be near and far transfer. So, near transfer would be going back to the assimilation that I mentioned earlier. Near transfer would be something you can understand without too much trouble, a skill you can apply to many different situations, like tying your shoes, like like I said with the rock climbing example, say you practice a lot of throws, a lot of dynamic moves. You can then go to a brand new problem you've never tried before, and use those moves to finish a route, perhaps. Far transfer would be something you need to work a little harder on, something that doesn't come as naturally. You'd need to add new schema your to your database of schema to be able to perform the new skill. The other model that describes transfer of learning would be low road and high road. And this tends to be a little more useful because it talks more about the process through which we adapt new material. So low road, similar to near transfer, would be something that occurs, or something that you a task, sorry, you can perform automatically, reflexively, maybe not automatically, but semi-automatically. Something like walking down the street versus walking down a street somewhere else, things of that nature. High road transfer would be something you need to think more deeply about, more abstractly. You would need to think about it in complex ways to try to better a understand or come up with a solution for the problem that you're faced with. And that's going to about do it for our lesson today. Thanks for joining me.